Shalom, this is your Ark. Yah is magnified. Coming back with another informative video. This video is titled No Remedy in Federal Court. So with that being said, let's get to it. Oh yeah, but before I proceed any further, I'd like to state for the record, I'm not a lawyer, I do not practice law, and I do not pretend to. All my videos are for informational and educational purposes only. They're all facts and all truth. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, so now, let's get to it, guys. Okay, so have you guys ever noticed that when you're looking at a YouTube video and people say they have testimonies or people say they have some type of remedy, all the remedies always come from the state. It never comes from the federal. It's not one federal testimony on YouTube about somebody went into the federal court and won a lawsuit. Not one. Why is that? I'll tell you why. Because nobody ever went in there and won a federal lawsuit against the state for child support underneath 1983. It never happened. You know, I was convinced, I was fooled enough to believe that it was going to happen for me. You know, I thought I was going to be the first person to win underneath Title 1983. You know, the guy had me so fooled. You know, I was ready to go in there and fight, wasting my money and all that just to be shut down. But again, guys, I asked this question because the simple fact of the matter is all remedies about child support and people getting some type of victory in child support came from the state, in the state only, not from the federal, but from the state. All the guys teaching this child support stuff who claim they got testimonies, they came from the state. And everybody who claimed that they got the case against them dismissed or that they won the case that child support had against them came out of the state, not the federal. Every single person on YouTube. Why is that? Because it's only remedy in the state, not in the federal, guys. They got the federal covered, you know. So now, we all know who's teaching this federal nonsense, which is Ahmed Osiris. You know, he wants you to believe that you're going to go into these courts and get victory. You know, you're going to actually have your day to stand up in federal court and argue back and forth with the agency in front of a federal judge. It never happens, guys. You know, it never happened and it never will happen, guys. Okay? And I'm going to prove that as well. But look, his method is this, that he wants you guys to go into court. First, before you even get to court, he wants you to send this bogus letter out that he wrote up, a sample letter that he wants you to send to the agency and let them know that they're depriving you of your constitutional rights. For one, the letter has no substance in it. You know, it's a basic letter that anybody will toss to the side. Basically, a majority of the guys that send that letter out probably don't even get a response. And those who do get a response, it's a simple response like, okay, I mean, what are you saying? This letter has no substance in it. How are we doing this? How are we doing that? You just making a bogus claim. So now that you're making a bogus claim, once you get that letter back, the first thing he tells you to do, which is Ahmed Osiris, he'll tell you guys to go and file your federal lawsuit into federal court. So now, you file your federal lawsuit in federal court, but you also have to fill out a cover letter to go with that federal lawsuit. So now, when you fill out this cover letter for this federal lawsuit, it's going to automatically end your case at the door. And you won't even know it. Why? Because everybody believes what this man says. They take his word for it. But his word is no good around here. You see? I used to take his word for it. I used to believe everything this dude was saying, man. You know, I was doing my research and stuff. He making it sound so convincing and stuff. I'm like, yeah, you know, what he's saying dude's making sense. Nah. He's only pointing out certain things that he wants you to see. You know, and if you only study the things that he's telling you to see or pay attention to, then you'll miss the bigger picture. And I'm going to show y'all that as well. But now look, let's listen to him tell you guys how to fill out this cover letter. We're not going to listen to the whole video. We're going to listen to this one portion that he says fill out that will end the case before it even starts. So now with that being said, guys, let's listen in.
You're not suing the government, okay, and the government's not a defendant. All right, it says federal question, U.S. government is not a party, so you're going to click on box 3, okay? And no matter what state you're in, they are all the same, all right? This one is, I pulled this one out of Pennsylvania, but it says the same thing across the board. All right. Although I don't like this, citizen of this state, you already know a citizen is a corporation.
Okay, so he gave it away right there for you guys that he knows it's not gonna work. That's why he said, you know, I don't like this, citizen of this state. Now we're gonna find out why he doesn't like that part, the citizen of this state. It's for a reason that he said that. But let's continue listening. I'm gonna go back a little bit so we can pick it up. You know, hear the whole gist of it. Here we go.
So you're going to click on box 3, okay? And no matter what state you're in, they are all the same, all right? This one is, I pulled this one out of Pennsylvania, but it says the same thing across the board. All right, although I don't like this, citizen of this state, you already know a citizen is a corporation and created by the state or nation. All right, but that's how it is when you do federal court, okay? So you're going to click on number 1, and this is the plaintiff, the defendant, incorporated, or a place of business in this state. Okay, that's it. Now you're going.
Okay, so that's it. So now we heard him out. So now his whole thing is this: he tell you guys to sue the social services department of your state, and he also tell you to sue the agency of your state. Both the social services is an arm of the state, and the agency is an arm of the state. They both are creations of the state, so they're covered underneath sovereign immunity. So now, guys, let's find out why he do not like this part of the application. Because once you check that citizenship part, and you say you are a citizen of this state, case is closed. You lose. Now let's go there. Let's prove that. Okay, so now let's pick this up with state immunity, right? It says state immunity, the 11th Amendment. The 11th Amendment limits private actions brought against state and federal court. Its full text provides. Let's continue. Now, this is what the 11th Amendment states right here, guys. It says, the judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity, commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state or by citizens or subjects of any foreign state. So again, guys, that alone lets you know that if you mark that, once you check that citizen box on them documents, that's why he said he don't like that part of the document, because once you check that, you're automatically a citizen of this state, and once you're a citizen of the state, then you cannot bring a federal lawsuit against the state. But let's continue reading. It says, the 11th Amendment was ratified in 1798 in order to overrule the Supreme Court decision that a South Carolina citizen could sue the state of Georgia for money damages. And that's Chisholm versus Georgia. But let's continue. It says, this decision caused uproar amongst the states because it impinged on the sovereignty of the state, which was supposed to have been retained in the Constitution. Shortly thereafter, the amendment was passed. Let's continue. It says the 11th Amendment prevents federal courts from exercising jurisdiction over state defendants. Okay? Now let's continue. It says the federal court will not even hear the case if a state is the defendant. But I was trying to tell y'all. You see? The same thing. But let's continue. A state may not sue in federal court by its a state may not be sued in federal court by its own citizens or a citizen of another state unless the state consents to jurisdiction, which they're not. They're not going to waive that sovereignty, guys. But let's continue. That's the case law. Then it says, consent to the jurisdiction of the federal court may be manifested by the state voluntarily appearing in the court to defend itself on the merits of the case. That's the case law. Then it says 11th Amendment immunity extends to suits filed against the state in state courts and before federal administrative agencies. That's another case law, guys. But let's continue. It says, unless the state or federal government creates an exception to the state's sovereign immunity, the state is immune from being sued without consent by any citizen in federal courts, state courts, or before federal administrative agencies. So again, guys, more truth, more proof, and more facts, man. You know, the 11th Amendment, once you say you're a U.S. citizen, you cannot sue the state. Then people say, well, he said you're going to sue the agency and you're going to sue the Department of Social Services. Again, as I told y'all in prior videos, both of those are creations of the state. Anything that's a creation of the state is an arm of the state, and because it's an arm of the state, they all have sovereign immunity, as I showed you guys in my federal lawsuit. So don't expect nothing different once you're trying to file them documents. So again, guys, all remedy that you will get dealing with child support will come out this state. You know, no matter how to get the remedy, you're going to get it in the state. Okay, and then once you get the state remedy, then you pursue to your lawsuit. But that's another different topic right there that I'm not going into yet. You know, because I got stuff that I'm doing that's going to be deep, guys. The stuff I'm doing going to be deep, man. You know, I wish I could just share it with you all, but I can't share it, you know. But again, guys, stay out of those federal courts. I cannot stress this enough, you know, because the 11th Amendment bars it. Okay, it'll bar that lawsuit at the jump. So again, guys, stay out of that federal court. I cannot stress that enough. So with that being said, I want to play this 11th Amendment video for you guys can watch at the end. So if you guys need my help, hit me up in my email at y'allismagnified@gmail.com. Make that donation, get the ball rolling. You know, get towards this freedom, man. You know, first you get remedy. And then after you get remedy, you go out the injuries done. So with that being said, you all be blessed. Check out this video at the end on the 11th Amendment. Shalom.
11th Amendment. What does it do? The 11th Amendment reinforces the concept of state sovereign immunity. Citizens cannot bring a state to federal court without their consent. This is not a new concept. It has been existing in the United States for many years. This amendment also exists to help the Supreme Court by reducing the huge amount of cases they see, allowing them to focus on the important ones. Lastly, a citizen can still take a state to federal court, they just need their consent. The 11th Amendment creates a balance of power between the states, government, and people.